Hey, it's Jeff Harper, Greg Hamre from the Hamre team at Remax Affiliates. We're in an Ottawa institution, the ESD.
Elgin Street Diner, one of my favorites.
It's the best. You got to try the hash browns here, although we did do poutine today, we have to admit.
Yeah, it's a neighborhood. It's one of the neighborhood secrets here.
Yeah.
Poutine all day long.
Yeah, make sure you check it out. Okay, so it's fun to be here because this is the kind of conversation people are having over coffees right now. Today's a big day. We had a rate cut. Again, this is the second one in a row from the Bank of Canada, and it dropped from 4.75% to 4.5%. What does this mean for buyers, for sellers, in layman's terms? Because I hear all of these analysts. I just want to know, over a cup of coffee, Greg, what does it mean for me in the real estate market?
It means that the rate drop cycle has begun.
Okay.
We saw it 30 days ago, 25%. You saw consumer confidence increase in language. People were talking like, okay, the downward slide of the interest rates has begun. They didn't expect it to happen 30 days later. They thought Canada was going to ride this out. We may see it in the fall.
Right.
It happened again 30 days later, another drop. So that gives everybody a deep breath. Like, okay, now we're moving to lower rates. Home sellers are going to say, okay, now I'm going to think about putting my house on the market. And buyers are going, okay, that just bought me a little more purchasing power and or a little more fresh air.
For the average person, if you haven't bought a home before, or you're not in on finance, it does mean that a house can be more affordable, right?
It absolutely puts you in a different category.
Okay.
I mean, the first one on a variable mortgage affected every mortgage owner
Right.
by $75. And I remember when $75 would fill up your car or buy a bag of groceries. It doesn't anymore.
Right.
So I was like, it's not a lot, but it was more of the psychology of it. The method to the madness was rates are coming down and they're supposed to drop by 2%, 2 points over the next 12 months. So
Okay.
that's great. We're not going to see this affect the market numbers initially. It takes 6 months in the economy before you see those numbers move, but it affects consumer confidence and it affects buyers and sellers that are like, should I wait for the market? Should I wait for rates to drop?
So in the immediate, this is great for buyers. And if you were a buyer, what would your plan of action be?
Well, I wouldn't wait for the rates to drop. I think that's a mistake. I think that if you recall the last 24 months, and 24 months ago when rates were low, competition increases when rates go low. More people come in to buy homes. And in those situations, there were multiple offers, 10, 12. Houses were selling 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 over. It was mayhem. 24 months ago, rates were down below 3%. I don't think you're going to see that again. But right now, rates are pretty affordable. We can get you around the 4.5 today, and it'll be lower in the next 24 hours. But today, buyers have selection.
Yeah.
They can negotiate pricing. They can negotiate their closing date. They can negotiate their inclusions, fridge, stove, washer, dryer. Maybe they want a couch involved in that.
Yeah.
More importantly, they can put in conditions. Conditions on finance, give you a little breathing room. Conditions on home inspection. If there's a problem with the house, you want to know about it ahead of time. If there's a $100,000 issue with that and you were buying it 24 months ago, you bought it sight unseen in some cases, and you acquired the home in the condition it was in.
Greg, I remember 24 months ago, people's hair was on fire. I mean, it was a scramble, very uncomfortable time for buyers because you're dealing with so many other buyers competing with you. Okay, so, and you're thinking to yourself, I'm going to wait for these points to drop further, and you think that's going to save you money, but prices will go up, so you're actually not over the long term. Would you recommend getting into a shorter term, 3-year mortgage and look at down the road as a buyer, maybe looking at lower rates back then, so you're kind of saving money in both ways?
Key economists are saying if you can handle a variable mortgage right now, get into a variable. You can ride it out for the next 6 months, and then you can lock in at any time.
Okay.
I would personally do that. If you're more comfortable with a fixed mortgage, you want to know what your mortgage payments are. 3 years at the max.
Okay, this brings me to another problem that we see out there right now. If I'm a buyer, and I just see it in my neighborhood, what's out there right now? We're in a I feel like limited inventory because everyone's in pause mode. You have some unique ways to find properties versus just Googling.
Sure, we have a list of properties that are off the market that we can take our buyers to. We know of product before it's coming soon, that we can open up the window to that. We're looking for specific types of properties. So if you're thinking of selling, we want to talk to you. We may already have a buyer for that, and that's not a cliche. We do have that.
Yeah.
There's only 2.5 months worth of inventory right now on the market in Ottawa. That's not a lot. That is still a seller's market. And when it gets to 8 months, that's a buyer's market. We are very lean. You're not seeing a lot of new construction. It's skinny. And even when things pick up, it takes them 24 months to react on the new builds. So we're dealing with residential resales only, and there's not a lot. And to find the nice stuff is what we really try to do for our clients.
Yeah, you
now,
do.
The gold is in the old, though,
Yeah.
Jeff. The gold is in the old. If you can find a listing out there that's been on the market for 60 plus days, there's going to be a little more discount on that, and you can pick up some real big deals going into August.
So the overall news here is positive, a positive feeling. Everyone's excited about what's coming as these rates drop. If you're a buyer, you want to get in now.
Home ownership is a real dream for a lot of Canadians,
Okay.
and a lot of people have been pushed out of that dream. Right now, this may be a big opportunity to capitalize on what we think in the next 12 months with lower interest rates will be a little more affordable. Lock in or take a variable for 5 years and being a little more comfortable. Where as opposed to renting, where you get bumped a year from now, the seller decides to sell, you have to move again, you want to do some renovations, even painting, and you're painting a house that you don't even belong, it doesn't even own.
Right.
And just get a feel for, hey, I'm comfortable, my kids are in the neighborhood, this is what we call home. And that includes the community, just like the community here, Elgin Street Diner.
Absolutely love it. What a legend the Elgin Street Diner is. And Greg, I just want to say, if anybody is, even if you're sort of toying with it, you don't mind a phone call of people who are prospective, who are like, maybe now's the time, maybe it's not. WeKnowOttawa.com is the best spot to go.
That's actually our website, WeKnowOttawa.com. We want to start talking to you now. If you're thinking even 12, 24 months down the road, it's not too early. It's never too early to start planning.
There you have it. And if you know Ottawa, you know Elgin Street Diner. Cheers.
We know Ottawa. Cheers. You'll want to live here.
Sell your